are the son of my poor sister, Mrs. Moncrief, and consequently Algernon's elder brother.
Algy's elder brother?
Yes.
Then I have a brother, after all. I knew I had a brother. I always said I had a brother. Cecily, how could you have ever doubted that I had a brother? Dr. Chasuble, meet my unfortunate brother. Miss Prism, meet my unfortunate brother. Gwendolen, meet my unfortunate brother. Algy, you young scoundrel. You'll have to treat me with more respect in the future. You have never behaved like a brother to me in all your life.
Well, not until today, old boy. I admit I did my best, however, though I was out of practice.
My own? But what own are you? What is your Christian name now that you've become someone else?
Good heavens. I had quite forgotten that point. Your decision on the subject of my name is irrevocable, I suppose.
I never change, except in my affections.
What a noble nature you have, Gwendolen.
Then the question had better be cleared up at once. Aunt Augusta, a moment. At the time when Miss Prism left me in the handbag, had I been christened already?
Every luxury that money could buy, including christening, had been lavished on you by your fond and doting parents.
Then I was christened. That's settled. Now, what name was I given? Let me know the worst.
Being the eldest son, you were naturally christened after your father.
Yes. What was my father's Christian name?
I cannot at the present recall just what the General's Christian name was, but I have no doubt he had one. He was eccentric, I admit, but only in later years, and that was the result of the Indian climate and marriage and indigestion and things of that kind.
Algy, can't you recollect what our father's Christian name was?
My dear boy, we were never even on speaking terms. He died before I was a year old.
His name would appear in the army list of the period, I suppose, Aunt Augusta.
The General was essentially a man of peace, except in his domestic life. But I have no doubt his name would appear in any military directory.
The army lists of the last 40 years are here. These delightful records should have been my constant study. M. Generals. Malham, Maxwell, Magley. What ghastly names they have. Markley, Migsby, Mobbs, Lieutenant. 1840. Captain. Lieutenant Colonel. Colonel, General, 1869. Christian names. Earnest. John. I always told you, Gwendolen, my name was Earnest, didn't I? Well, it is Earnest after all. I mean, it naturally is Earnest.
Yes, I remember now that the General was called Earnest. I knew I had some particular reason for disliking the name.
Ernest, my own Ernest. I felt from the first that you could have no other name.
Oh, Gwendolen, it's a terrible thing for a man to find out suddenly that all his life he's been speaking nothing but the truth. Can you forgive me?
I can, for I feel you were sure to change.
My own one.
Letitia.
Frederick, at last.
Cecily, at last.
Gwendolen, at last.
My nephew, you seem to be displaying signs of triviality.
On the contrary, Aunt Augusta, I've now realized for the first time in my life the vital importance of being earnest. In tonight's show, the parts of the narrator and Jack Worthing were played by Gordon Farrell. Algernon Moncrief was played by Ronald Weidman, Gwendolyn Fairfax by Donna Wells, Lady Bracknell by Diana Stone, Cecily Cardew by Linda West. The parts of Dr. Chasuble, Lane, and Merriman were played by John Matthews, and Miss Prism was played by Kay Carroll Diaz.
This is Ron Weidman, chairman of the drama department, Skyline College. Skyline is the northernmost campus of the College of San Mateo District. We're located in San Bruno, between the ocean and San Bruno Mountains, just off Skyline Boulevard to the west. In the studio with me tonight are several members of the department, really quite a representative sampling of our most active participants in the program. Everyone that I see here tonight, I think, has been actively involved in all of the productions that we've done this year. Cabaret in the fall, Caesar and Cleopatra, Man of La Mancha coming up, and we'll be in Cat on a Hot Tin Roof in May. In the studio, John Matthews, who played the male lead in Cabaret, is also very active in our scene construction area and is playing in Man of La Mancha. Linda West, who played a lead in Camino Rio last year and has assistant directed at least twice and directed her own show last spring. And two of the young ladies who have done choreography for Cabaret, and Miss Kay Carol Diaz and Miss Donna Wells. And Donna Wells is appearing in Man of La Mancha and also working as assistant director. Gordon Farrell, to my right, is a young man who played the lead in Caesar and Cleopatra by George Bernard Shaw, show we did last fall. And last but not least is Diana Stone, our department costumer designer. And Linda, would you tell us something about the rest of the season this year?
Yeah, at Skyline, our drama department is now working on a production of Man of La Mancha by Dale Wasserman. This musical is based on an incident in the life of Miguel de Cervantes, who created the legendary character of Don Quixote de la Mancha. Man of La Mancha will be performed at Skyline College at 8 o'clock p.m. on March 12th, 13th, 14th, and 15th, and at 2 o'clock p.m. on March 15th and 16th. All tickets for this production are $1. We'd suggest that you call ahead for reservations, as there's limited seating for all performances. For reservations about this production and for further information about Man of La Mancha and Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, which will be produced later in the spring, call the box office at Skyline College between the hours of 8 o'clock a.m. and 4:30 p.m. on weekdays. The number is 355-7000, extension 231.
And late this spring, watch for announcements of the opening of the second performing season of the Southgate Theater Company in San Mateo County.